Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I've been waiting to do this for so long now. I'm so excited that we're finally taking the time and getting your story. So I'm just going to ask you some questions and then you can answer and easy peasy.
Sounds good.
Ignore all the kids in the background. Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know you, can you just quickly share how long you have been navigating fibro and chronic pain?
Well, I am Lana, and I have been dealing with fibromyalgia for 30 years, and it's been a long time.
Yeah, 30 years, that's a long time. What what has it been like at your worst, like at the lowest?
The lowest has been where it was difficult to get even simple things to walk to the bathroom, walk to the car, just even walk over the threshold, in your front door, in your front door area, just a little step. So close, you know, majority like 90% bedridden, but still functioning, forcing myself to function. But yeah, it was the mobility was huge and many things were going on. Like probably possibly up to like 300 different things going on.
Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. That like is like daily struggle, like literally the things that most people take for granted, like walking, going to the bathroom. What is it, do you think that most people who don't live with this don't understand?
That we more or less appear to look like we're fine. We have a saying that I'm fine, and it is because we more or less look like we're normal and that we don't look like we're in pain when, you know, the majority being the nerve pain is like huge for us, which of course it's many other things, but we look fine for the most part. The mobility, and you can see obviously when people don't get around as well, but in general, we look better than what we feel.
Yeah, absolutely. So I noticed you're saying we. So you have led multiple fibro communities for like 17 plus years. So are these the same patterns that you see in most people like over and over?
Yes. So each person has their own, like they feel it differently, but on the other hand, they also can relate. So it's the same thing. It's just, some things might be worse for one person versus another. They might, you know, have different issues that are the worst for them. And these other ones might be, the least issue for them. But either way, most everyone has the exact same um, symptoms, the exact same or other illnesses that go along with it.
Yeah, like stacked on top of each other. And
Right.
from what I have heard from a lot of people is that a lot of it just gets like dismissed, which can probably be pretty frustrating. Like looking for treatment, like treatment wise.
Right. I'd been to the doctor many times in the past and didn't get very far. A little bit, but never any pain relief. And so I was pretty much on my own for that. And a lot of people do struggle with that same thing and say that they're not getting enough help. They're not getting enough relief, I guess is a better word. They're not getting enough relief and they are, needing support. So my communities, they're needing support because they still feel like they're struggling. They're, whether it's many appointments or they're trying to find a solution on their own. Um, Either way, they're not getting anywhere with it.
Yeah. What would you say that it is that most people do try first? Like when they're going down like this healing journey, do you think most people do start out at the doctor, or like are a lot of people like going the pharmaceutical route, or are more people leaning in towards like natural products?
I would say it's changing the last few years, but it usually it starts out at the, with pharmaceuticals and the doctor, but sometimes it goes a long time, even a year or two, before they realize that, no, wait a minute, there's something is wrong and this is not normal. And some will go right away, but some also will go and, kind of put it off thinking that, well, it's just temporary or it's just a flu or it's just because it does like mimic, like flu symptoms as well, along with the pain. So sometimes they think they just, you know, have something else going on. And then as time goes on, then they, go and see their medical professional and, they may or may not get pharmaceuticals, but um, most people have, you know, went that route initially. And then some are still, in that, but some are, saying that they do not have enough help either way. And some just totally, are just kind of left in the middle of it. Have nothing to feel better with, using topicals and, trying every natural product that they can to try to see just to get a little bit. Because if you have, 20 things that are helping a tiny bit, at least it's something.
Right. Yeah. So what would you say is like what most people are missing in the approaches that they're seeking out?
Results. They're missing results. Or they're missing enough results that, even if it's not instant, but they're just it's not helping to the extent where they feel any different. So almost like a placebo in a way. So
Right.
in general.
So you recently started using something after looking into nervous system support and regulation of the vagus nerve. So what were your thoughts when you first started researching and learning about the nervous system? Like, were
Well,
you
that
skeptical
yeah.
or
Well, that's the key to, fibromyalgia, and it's been known that the nervous system, the connection there, but, it wasn't really known to what to do with it and, how to help. There's, a few things you can do, but it's not going to be a huge thing. It's just going to maybe calm it a tiny bit, but not enough to where you feel comfortable. And, it takes something major to make a difference, basically.
Absolutely. I have studied like somatic healing for a while, and a lot of the protocols are it takes a long time to get results, like years and years of like breath work and like stimulating and activating your vagus nerve. So when I was looking for something that was a little bit easier, and I found this tincture and I shared it with you. I know you had, I know your first thought was like, this isn't gonna work. So I want to know when I first presented that to you, like what was going through your head?
Well, it was going through my head was that I've tried many things, being probably hundreds, and there has been a few, two or three things that have a tiny bit. They've helped a little. It wasn't long term, and it didn't heal. It was masking it, and so, um, but anything that'll help, I was there for it, and I know and just felt that one day there's going to be something. And I actually even made a post um, many years ago in my original group from 17 years ago that I started, and actually did a post mentioning one day I'm going to find something. I don't know what it is, but one day When I find it, I'll be the first to share it with everyone. And it was not really something that I thought would actually happen. But I just felt that, we can't be going on this way forever and ever. And when you told me that, I had my doubts, but I'm like, well, I'll give it, a year, 12 months. I don't have to see a thing because things don't work as far as my experience and a lot of people's experiences. So I was going to give it 12 months before I even saw any improvement, which that didn't happen that way. it, I saw, immediate different things that happened, but, and because you had mentioned it, I knew you had researched and like you always do. So it was a trust thing. So of course you're not one to tell me, try this, because we're told often by people to, well, if you just do this, that my neighbor's friend, they did this and now they're cured. Well, you know, there's no cure, first of all. And, so no one's claiming that. And, there's a lot of unknowns with it, but basically it was a trust thing. And I knew that if you said it and you thought that it would help me, I was definitely going to give it a try because um, that, you would not tell me that otherwise.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I want to backtrack a little bit because you
Okay.
said that you would give it 12 months. And if you
Well,
didn't see anything, you would give it the full 12 months. You're actually coming up on it almost being 12 months.
yes, it's almost,
So when when did you start noticing those little shifts?
well, there was a lot of shifts. So the first night that I had taken this, I slept better. The first night. I didn't plan for that. I didn't, think that was going to happen. But I did think it might help in 12 months, but the first night I slept better. And within 4 days, my lymphatic system felt like it was unclogging. And I wasn't even any expert on, my lymphatics at all. I just knew that my collarbone felt like toxins, fluids, or, it just felt swollen. And, the left leg behind the knee was constant pain. So I knew it was related to that. And something was going on. Now I didn't get answers on multiple appointments and that type of thing that I had went to. So, but I knew there was an issue. Within 4 days, that was unclogged. 4 days,
Amazing.
yes. And I had no pain. It causes a lot of pain. I mean, it can go into your face and tooth, like a toothache, and build up um, the fluids, toxins, and everything that it does. But it definitely um, starting to flow the normal way, like a healthy person would within 4 days.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So, what are some of the shifts that came a little bit later, like further down the road for you?
So I, well, pain was a later one, although I was immediately out of a flare. So technically, that would be pain related and all of the other things, even though it's just a weird feeling. You don't feel all of a sudden like I have less pain, but I wasn't getting worse. So that the flare went away. I had felt like I was in a flare, which is very common for those with fibro to have a flare, but I felt like it was 3 years. Like it was a very long time. Usually it's a few months, but it really it felt like it just went on forever and ever, and I was getting worse. So I felt like the flare was gone those first few days, and if not immediately. And the fibro fog or brain fog, it was gone immediately. I mean, in those first few days, it could have been overnight, but because that next day I felt good. But either way, within a few days, the brain fog, it was gone. The mind clarity, it was just like I could think again. I didn't have, what I mean? My brain would shut off at night where I could sleep. So there was kind of a connection there. Plus the fatigue was huge. And that lessened a lot. It actually, you know, within a few days, it didn't exist.
That's absolutely amazing. I know for me, when I started taking it, when before I was taking it, I would wake up with super stiff joints. And literally, like 2 weeks in, I was waking up without that morning stiffness. And that to me was like, this is amazing. I have to give this to Lana. Like,
Yes. Oh, I'm glad you did. I was getting worse. Okay, so fibromyalgia is known as a progressive, and it's not classified as a disease, although it should be, but and they are actually changing a few things, but it's a syndrome. So either way, it is not considered or classified as a progressive thing. But I mean, you can ask anyone and they will say it gets worse every year. So unclassified, it gets worse every year. So I was getting worse every year. So many, many
yeah,
years of that. And I was at the probably end of my rope of it. It's like, I can't do this. I just, I so there was a little desperation where it's just like tried all these things and nothing has helped. Um, and plus I know that you were going to tell me something that wasn't helping you and you didn't research. Of course, I knew that was going to be something good, but I just didn't know what type of thing it was because I never tried anything like that. So,
absolutely. The most amazing thing that I saw from you when I saw the shift in you was being able to hold the kids. Like you were able to actually carry them around and play with them and not
mhm. And
be
run
in
with them.
like
Yeah.
absolute agonizing pain, which I thought was absolutely amazing because I never thought that that was going to happen. I feel like I'm going to cry.
Yeah. No, that was the part that I gained my mobility because I mean, I did force myself to do a lot of things, so like many people do, because I mean, I wasn't going to stop living, but then again, it wasn't a very good life. It's not a very good quality life, is I guess a better
Yeah,
way
it
to
was
say it.
just like seeing you go from like being with them and looking like you were in absolute pain
Yes.
to being with them and actually looking like you're enjoying your
Yes.
time.
Yes.
It was amazing.
And
So,
it took a little bit. So there would be different things that happen, and like I was mentioning, and then it'd go a month or two, and then it'd be one little thing that, as far as felt it internally, things were going on, but as far as what I could feel, it would be a month or 2 months, and then wait a minute, I don't remember feeling this type of thing again, where I used to feel it all the time, and then it'd be a few more months or a month, and something else would lessen, you know and then it got to be about 6 months, and then I had another huge shift, and that was a big one. I mean, the beginning was really big because it was initially, I nothing was going on with my body, as far as improvements, so it was huge. But then around the 6 months is when I started to feel a lot better. And then, every few months it just got better and better.
that's amazing. So tell me a little bit about like how did that feel emotionally when you started experiencing that physical relief?
Well, actually, I didn't even realize it initially because I am so used to, and I know a lot of people can relate to this. I do. They I was so used to being one way that, and even to this day, that 11 months later, I mean, we are going up to almost 12 months. Even then, I have to literally, like, can you believe that I'm in less pain, a lot less pain. But at the time, even, you know, a little less, or and all these other things going on, I couldn't even, wrap it around my brain. I just couldn't imagine literally, I can't, and I still can't. It's just like, this was my life a year ago. I was a different person, and I was so excited when the huge shift happened, the first huge one happened, that I walked up 3 flights of stairs.
Oh
So,
my
and then,
goodness.
and then walked down, and at the um, at the Mario Andretti, the racing experience place, and there was upstairs going up the stairs instead of the elevator. I'm like, I can do it because I at that point I was feeling a lot better, and I'm like, oh, I can do it. Although I thought, well, I'll probably get up one and then be like, oh, nope. I went up all those stairs and went back down, and I did it like 4 times that night. And
Oh my goodness.
I wasn't
That's
even tired.
amazing.
I wasn't in pain. I wasn't in tired, and I was like, well, that's when I knew. I'm like, oh, it's really set in a lot more at that point.
So was that like the moment when you were like, okay, I've got to share this with my community? Like people
Yep.
need this.
Yes. I think that was because I didn't like I wanted to, but I also wanted to, make sure it wasn't in my mind that, that something didn't just decrease and lessen just because it lessened on its own, or which, that doesn't normally happen. But just in case, that probably was the huge shift where I'm like, yeah, I can't keep this quiet. There's no way. I cannot. There's so many people that need to feel this way that I cannot keep quiet any longer.
Absolutely. So I know like you have a huge community of people who are just like living, trying to live with this and who could really use like something to make them not feel so trapped, right?
Yes, we feel trapped in our body for sure. And we feel like we can't do anything about it because there's nothing to do about it. Well, there wasn't. There is
So
now.
if you had someone who is like on the fence, like what would you tell them?
Well, I would probably ask them how long are they going to continue feeling this way? How long do they want to continue feeling this way? Like it's not a choice, but when you're given another option, you know, I mean, I understand things in the past because look what happened with me trying all these different things and nothing helped. But I mean, I can tell you firsthand that I had gotten pretty bad. Well, you know this, but I had gotten pretty bad. And um, yeah, I didn't know where things were going to be. It's just, I mean, I don't know if to mention, but I mean, I could go on and on about the things that were going on. It just way too many. And I think it actually can give people's lives back. It definitely they will not even recognize them. They like I know that I can barely, you know, think of that thought of like, geez, I was just I couldn't get around where I was like literally had to roll and then go another roll to just to get out of bed. And I had to do it. I had to get up, but people need to be able to function too. And I can totally relate to that. And they don't want to continue being like that. So they definitely want to go and I mean, just look at what happened with me and,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and many
I've
people.
seen so many testimonies, like hundreds and hundreds of testimonies. And it sounds so cliche when you're like, it gives people their life back, but it's the truth. And I'm like, we have to give this to everyone. Like, it
Right.
is a crime to hold this back.
It
Like,
is.
it really is. And then I think pairing this with the reset is absolutely a game changer because with the reset, you get those daily tools to start building on to train your nervous system. And then you add in this, and it's like,
All those tips. Yes.
yes,
I
absolutely
love the
amazing.
reset. I've
Me
done it a
too.
few times. I
I've done it like 4 times. But it's just one of those things, like it's so easy. You just start implementing these steps into your everyday life, and it's just great. And then your body starts relearning and rewiring, and all your signals are communicating, and everything just gets so much better.
Yes, I feel more normal, which is a weird thing. I still am trying to get my, thinking that I feel better. It's I feel it, but it's still because I've felt unwell for so long. It's still a weird concept, but I mean, how long do people want to continue on? They don't want to continue on in this life. They want to continue on in a, you know, a healthier life. You know, less of what they're dealing with. They want to definitely trust me there. I know, I know
Yeah,
they
firsthand, huh?
I know firsthand. Yes, yes, and I hear it every day, all day in my communities, and they just feel like they're at the end of the rope of things. They just don't. They just want someone to say, "Do you guys feel this? I'm going through this. Can you relate?" Yes, we all can relate. We all definitely can relate.
But now you're bringing
But
on a
now,
whole nother thing. Like, not
yes,
only can we relate, but we can start implementing this and
right,
helping repair, fix,
right,
feel great again.
right, and the vagus nerve, from what I understand, the vagus nerve will go in and start to help or repair, heal whatever the worst thing that's going on in your body. And
Yes.
and me personally, I thought that it was something else. I thought that I had, you know, certain things. I thought it was related to nerve pain or something with, you know, your brain and nerves. And it was not, that was not the worst thing. Even though as far having fibro, I would have thought that it was not. My worst thing, from what it seems to me, was visceral fat was number one. It was huge. It was affecting my organs. And I feel that was the biggest thing that happened with my lymphatic system. And then it went on to the other things. But those two things seem to have been the huge things as far as how I felt. Well, they're the first things that ended up um, improving. And that did help my sleep, of course. Like I said, the sleep would it happened first, but I don't know like the reason for it. But it definitely calmed, you know, calmed things down where I could sleep that first night. But yeah, as far as the specifics, I felt the visceral and the lymph was my things that started working on first.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's like, once you learn like your body, like everything is connected and it all works together, then it's like, okay, my body knows what to do. It just needs that little kickstart to remember how to do it.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm so glad that we got to do this. And thank you so much for sharing your story. And to anyone who is watching this, if you resonate with Lana's story, the reset is pinned in the group to start. Get on these drops.
Yes.
Not even kidding. Like it sounds cliche, I know, but they are life
Yes.
changing and
And we all deserve to feel better. We all do deserve
absolutely.
it. Yes.
Absolutely. Any closing thoughts you want to leave everyone with?
It's just that we all deserve to feel better and get the drops.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.